call Mr. Chris Lyttle.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The Alliance Party obviously opposed the budget at Executive and in this Assembly for what we believe is a lack of long-term strategic approach to quite serious social and economic challenges facing our society. We've made our concerns clear, and I heed Mr Wilson's admonition that this is no longer the budget debate, and we have to now start accepting the democratic will of this Assembly in relation to the budget. I will, however, take this opportunity to continue to put down red flag warnings in relation to aspects of this budget that were brought to my attention as a member of the Regional Development Committee. The Minister for Finance says that the budget is about tough choices, and yet by deferring difficult decisions around many issues, for example our water services and other fair revenue raising and redistribution, the Executive is failing to adequately invest in our public services, including our water system and infrastructure, which is critical to the health, economic development and environmental well-being of this community. It's time, Mr Deputy Speaker, that the DUP Finance Minister, the Ulster Unionist Regional Development Minister, indeed all parties in this Assembly were honest with the public on water. The DUP Finance Minister accuses Alliance of shirking tough choices in relation to this budget and yet resorts to short-sighted populist political campaigning rather than fair and responsible budget management. The Minister for Regional Development has said that at least £750 million will be required from 2015 to 21 in relation to water system upgrade for Belfast Water and sewerage system alone, and yet the draft DRD budgets allocate around £450 million for capital investment for that period, £300 million approximately short, and the Executive already subsidises the cost of water services by anywhere between £250 to £300 million per year. £300 million lost to other important public expenditure, health, education, independent advice services to assist the most vulnerable with welfare reform. So underinvestment in water, underinvestment in other public services and this subsidy. We also have the risk of European infraction. The European Commission has already commenced infraction proceedings previously against the UK Government for Ballycastle wastewater treatment works, and the Minister for Regional Development says that Belfast Harbour is now at risk of failing to meet required water quality standards. The European Commission Water Framework Directive also requires states to recover the costs of water services and by 2010 to have introduced water pricing policies that incentivise efficient water use. The Minister has made clear that whilst Northern Ireland charges for non-domestic water use, the absence of domestic water charges is another European Commission infraction risk. The Department for Regional Development Committee has been told that it is unlikely that the Department for Regional Development will be able to provide adequate funding for Northern Ireland Water for operating and capital costs, and it is my understanding that the Northern Ireland Water budget is short around £14.7 million for 15-16. Add to that the potential £13 million overspend by the Department for Regional Development for this year. We've also been told that wastewater infrastructure is insufficient to meet future requirements expected of it, with the problem most acute in Belfast. So the Minister for Finance says that the 2015-16 budget is about tough choices, and yet he and other parties have completely avoided the difficult decisions around water and other fair revenue raising and redistribution. My party believes that we have to be open and honest about the need for serious consideration of the introduction of fair domestic water pricing based on the ability to pay if we are to meet the demands that I have set out today on this and other vital public services. Mr Deputy Speaker, as a member of the OFM-DFM Committee, it's my understanding that we have received no ministerial attendance at our committee in relation to the budget, and a complete lack of detail around some key budget allocations, for example £10 million towards the Together Building a United Community strategy. This is of particular concern given OFM-DFM track record of gross underspend on other key areas of policy provision, such as the childcare budget and indeed the Social Investment Fund budget dedicated to tackle deprivation and regeneration in our community. Mr Deputy Speaker, I'd also like to, on behalf of the Alliance Party, oppose the disproportionate and targeted reduction of the Equality Commission Northern Ireland proposed by Mr Allister. It's my understanding that the Equality Commission for Northern Ireland has already experienced a 10% reduction and staffing reductions over the last 4 years, and it is indeed there to play a key role as an independent body for equality in our community. It does essential work around the Fair Employment Treatment Order, Section 75, disability discrimination work, and it's a vital scrutiny body to ensure equality and good relations are advanced in our community. So, in closing, Mr Deputy Speaker, those of us who support a shared and prosperous future for Northern Ireland clearly have our work cut out to ensure that the hard-earned public finances are spent in the best interests of everyone in this community. And I give that to the House. Thank you.